What's going on, YouTube and 2K community? Back with the second round of the Yay Not Gaming mock draft. I am your host, Yay Not Gaming, of course. In the first round, got some interesting picks. Got a little bit of feedback of what people were saying about the picks. Some were saying they weren't too far off. A couple people also said they, weren't even close. But that's part of the game. If you look at mock drafts from the NBA, Mel Kiper's mock drafts, they're never accurate, but it's a lot of fun to do, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I'm trying to get in the head of some of these GMs, some of these war rooms, and see what they're doing. Now I'm going to kick off this second round. And some of you who might not have listened to the beginning of the first video, with the first video, one thing I kind of mentioned was that with these picks, I'm going based off team need and like the best available player for that team that can, one, fit the system, two, it just makes sense overall, and three, just kind of go along with the culture of the guys around them. So if some of these guys have a player in mind that I don't know about, that I'm obviously not going to pick it because I'm not actually inside the locker rooms, inside these conversations. I don't know who's denying interviews. I don't know who these coaches really have their eye on. Even though rumors spread and people talk in the chats, and people talk in tennis chats and whether it's group chats or whatever about where they're going. Like I mind my own business. I don't know who exactly is going where. So this is why I'm picking these players at these spots, because it makes sense to me. So with that being said, let's dive into this second round, starting with the Lakers at 24. Now with this Lakers pick, I think they're in a really good position. I think maybe not as good a position as the Celtics is in the draft, but they can definitely get some decent guys around to change their situation around. Right now, what I had them get in the first round was Crazy. So that has a roster right now as Tactic, Crazy, and Sav. So I think this would be a good spot to get a Sharp. I think one Sharp that will work best with what they're trying to get accomplished there in LA is no one other than Welsh Jordy. I think one thing I like about Welsh Jordy is that it seems like he doesn't really miss in big situations. He hit a few big shots in the European tournaments. He qualified on American servers. He definitely showed that he can play against really good American competition. So I think he's deserving of a spot in the league. I think right here at 24 is a good spot to snatch him up. They might have some issues with traveling with the whole COVID situation, but I feel like once he gets in and settled in LA, he will fit right alongside the people they have over there in that organization. I think Chris is looking to start a whole new dynamic. And at the 25th pick, we have no one other than Pistons GT. We got Ramo. I have them getting Ant Season in the first round. Also brought back Chargers and slide to either the 3 or the 4. I think the big thing with Detroit right now is getting guards that can put the ball in the hole. With Ant Season going in the first round at number 4 in my first round mock draft, which you can see in the description below if you haven't seen it before. You can click through there and go to the first round if you haven't. But here I think it's another good spot to get a talented guard. With the way I think the build is going to play out, I think it's going to be more towards next gen, where both the point guard and the Sharp can be able to work out with the ball in their hands. So this is a perfect opportunity to get another guard who can put the ball on the floor and score. And might have to work on scoring off ball, but I think a player like this can adjust. And that is Hoodie Dre. The way I've seen him play over the last few years, you could definitely see the development, and playing under somebody like Ramo, they're only going to get better and better. I think getting Hoodie Dre alongside with a talent like Ant Season, it's a perfect time to perfect opportunity to get two good guards that can help make a playoff run again. They haven't been since season 1, so it'll be nice to get two talented draft picks to help develop and help make another run. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. This Pacers pick at 26, I think people who are watching the mock draft, who watched the first round, aren't going to agree with this. I think a lot of people don't really know the situation over there in Indianapolis. I have a little bit of insight. Not going to really give away my sources on this, but I think with the 26th pick, they're going to get another guard here. I think they They were looking to ship Swizzerk off. Swizzerk haven't been playing the game. I don't think anybody has seen him in next gen yet. I'm pretty sure that he's gonna have to battle for a spot here come the regular season play. So I think 26 pick, I think is the best available guard at this spot is nobody other than Fana. Get Fana here, especially the Pacers and having the last few years of struggling at the point guard spot. In the first round, I had him getting a walking bucket at the number 2 pick, and getting Fana here at 26. I think that's definitely a steal. I think both of them in the backcourt would definitely put a lot of points on the board. Definitely gonna have to adjust to the league build. Also with Fana, he brings in the content piece of it all too. And Pacers is the best, if not one of the best content teams in the NBA 2K League. I think it just makes a lot of sense to have a high personality like Fana, who's been getting better and better as time progresses, and I think it's gonna fit right alongside those guys in Indiana. With the 27th pick with the Mavericks, I really like what the Mavericks did over the course of the offseason, acquiring Sick and Zay. They had to also they also got Jin, which was also a good acquisition from a trade going to Gen G. So they have done a good job in terms of like getting decent pieces onto the roster. So I think right now what their main focus is at 27 is finding a good lockdown. Depending on how the actual draft is going to go, it can be weird. So this could be a tough spot to find a lock, because as far as we know, good locks might go early in the draft, or it could be a really easy spot to find a decent lock, because I think 1 or 2 might go early and then it's a big drop off until the second round. So, but in my mock draft, I think a good lock for this team that that will fit their dynamic is no one other than Eli, aka underrated GOAT. Been playing really well in pre-draft. Has a little bit of experience playing with some league players. I think a lot of people do vouch for him in terms of the way he plays lockdown. I think he'd be a good fit for that system over there under LT. With Dime's going back to point guard, I think Dime is really good at developing like upcoming talent, and having someone like that coming through the Mavericks camp, especially playing with really talented players like Sick and Zay as well. I think it's nothing but upside for the guy underrated GOAT, aka Eli, there at 27. Now with the 28th pick going to Boston Celtics, this is their 4th time being on the board here for this mock draft. Like I said before, I think the Celtics going to really have to try to mess this one up. I think they're in a great position to draft really well this year. Rico and those guys in the war room have a great opportunity to bring another playoff run just based off this draft alone. I think at the end of the actual draft, I think they win the draft. It's kind of hard to mess it up before picking the first 28. But in the first round, I had them getting Glow, 630, and Guns to match with FTW and Bully. So this is a good opportunity to draft a veteran. I feel like it's a good time to get somebody who's made a playoff run, been a championship contender, can play multiple positions, and he can pretty much fill in wherever you need him to. And a good pick for the 28th pick would be Majestic. Majestic played for the Heat and the Blazers and played really well for both of those organizations. He played against me in the Season 1 Finals in Miami at the 4, I believe, and then he played lock and he got drafted at point guard, so you can definitely move him around if you have to. He can play sharp too as well. So this is a perfect time to get him in a locker room where he can show his leadership. He showed leadership a lot in the FIBA tournament, and you saw how much he improved at that lockdown position. So you can definitely stick him anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes higher in the draft or even like mid to late first round, but I think if he's here at 28, it'd be a good time to take him if I'm Rico. Now with the 29th pick with Heat Check Gaming, I think it's a perfect opportunity for Famous to bring some excellent talent there to Miami. I had them getting Rigby in the first round. They currently have Hotshot, Deeds, and Shifty on the roster, so it's a perfect opportunity to get somebody who can be flexible around the lineup. I've been seeing Hotshot playing a lot of guard lately, even though he's playing his program team is full of bigs, but I'm not sure what they have planned out there in Miami. But this does give him the opportunity to move Hot Shot to guard and have another player who can move around, who can play big. And if it doesn't work out for Hot Shot playing guard, he can move back up, and this guy can move to the backcourt. So if if you have a good idea of who I'm about to pick here, I think they'll be the steal of the draft. I think they'll be the best role player in the entire season 4 draft. I think there's a good chance to have him coming to Miami if he's here available at 29, and that's no one other than Antoine. I think, like I said before, like it's a perfect steal. He can play the point guard, he can play off ball, he can move to the corner if need be. He works on his craft. I think he'd be a good locker room guy. He's a good guy to talk to. I think he would listen to what Hot Shot has to tell him. A lot of those guys are veterans, so I think this would be the perfect place for him to develop as a player and as a man. So if he's sitting there at 29, I won't be surprised if Famous snatches him up there. Now with the 30th pick for the Warriors, like I was saying in the first round, it's a tough spot. I think Warriors, it's a tough team to draft for, just because I don't know anything. In the first round, I had them taking Chaos and Shuttles, which I believe will work out. They can move either or guy to the 4 to 5. Either or can play the pick and roll and play out the corner, play defense out the corner. So I think it makes a lot of sense. For the 30th pick, this is their 6-man pick. This is a guy I expect not to really play, but to be a really good 6-man, to bring a lot of character to the locker room. Good guy to have around. You can even plug him in at the 4. I'm not sure about the 5 totally yet, but with that Warriors team, unless something happens, like in terms of like emergency, you don't really need 6-man to play a whole lot. But with that being said, I think a good pick here at 30 would be Potts Jackson. Potts played for the Nets GC last year, and he had a pretty good role. He came in, played decent basketball at the 4 spot. I think the Warriors would love to have him over there. A good locker room guy, fun guy to be around. So I think it wouldn't be a bad pick if they took him there at 30. Okay, so now we're at 31 with Magic Gaming. Magic Gaming still hasn't had a playoff appearance yet in their existence of the 2K League. This is a perfect time to change that. They have some good, solid veterans around. They have Reezy, who was a MVP candidate, a Rookie of the Year in his first season out. DT, who had personal stuff going on last year, is ready to come back. May, who has something to prove at the center spot. And in the first round, they didn't have a first round pick, so this is a perfect chance to get somebody that they can develop, who will be a really good player and fit the dynamic they're trying to have over there in Orlando. I think that's no one other than Goon. See, Goon here at 31 makes a lot of sense to me because he played a really good lock in the FIBA tournament. I think he fits the dynamic they have over there. They got Sherm over there in the pick for the 8th pick from the Hornets. So with that lineup, they have Reezy, Goon, and Sherm. And depending on, I don't know 100%, but I feel like if they bring Goon over there, they're going to get along. It's going to work with what they want to get accomplished. He can shoot really well out the corner, play good defense, communicates, and I think it just makes a lot of sense to take him there at 31 if he's sitting there. Now with a 32nd pick for Grizz Gaming. In the first round, I had him getting Pex out and Cali Rack. I think there's 2 decent picks if they're available. They're keeping Vandy and Authentic. Authentic's going back to the center spot. So right here would be a good chance to get a 4. Power forward spot is really loaded this year. So I think if you're really playing this draft as a GM/scout, I think it'd be good to get your sharp, your lockdown early, point guard early, and then wait towards the tail end of the draft to get your power forward, because there's still going to be some good power forwards sitting around. That's just my opinion. Right here at 32, I think there's a good chance to get a guy who had success in the league the year prior, can play really well out the corner on offense and defense, can drop your rebounds, communicate, play the passing lanes, and hit big shots, and I think that's legit. Legit was part of that 16-0 Raptors team last year. his sixth brother. I think he fits the dynamic there in Grizz gaming. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, talking about fitting dynamic and saying that along with I think it makes sense because I think that's the best way to summarize this mock draft, because we don't know, like I said, I don't know a ton of what's going on in these, in these war rooms, what discussion is with these coaches, who's denying interviews, all that of sort. But in terms of talent and positioning, I think getting legit here at 32 is a good pick for Grizz game. Now at the 33rd pick, this will be the Nets' first pick of the draft. They made a trade over the offseason to acquire Jin. They also have Chalk and Shots. Those Shots came through a trade too as well. So now they have not back-to-back picks, but really close picks, 33 and 35. I think there's a chance for them to get a decent backcourt, a decent addition to the backcourt with Chalk. And it's definitely good to have somebody, that Chalk recognizes. He understands his game, and I think there's a little bit of chemistry there. I think it makes sense to draft him at 33. I would like to see. I would have liked to see him a little more of this pre-draft, but we know where his talent level is. I think he steps in there in Brooklyn. I think it will work out for the best. You can also move him around because you're also seeing how he is on the league build. You're seeing that even when he's not a guard, he can play a little bit of big. Probably he had some decent games at big, surprisingly enough. But it'd be nice to see him back at guard. So at 33, it'd be a good chance to take Killy here. Like I was saying before, a guy that Chalk's familiar with, a guy that Anchor's familiar with. To have him here at 33, I think at this point we know how Shots is. Shots wants to win games. So if you get Killy at 33, Killy has the same mindset. I think having somebody like Shots in the locker room is going to change the dynamic of the team. This is Shots' fourth team, I believe, in 4 seasons. Yeah, it's 4th team in 4 seasons. So I think I really hope the best for him and Chalk, and especially OG King Kirk, to develop these guys that they're drafting and what I want to see out of the Nets camp is have some guys that's going to stick around for a few years other than Chalk. So I think Killy is one of those guys who could. Now with the Hawks pick here at 34, this is West's chance to show how well of a GM, how well of a war room he can run here. And he has BP, he has Kelmath, Lee, 3 outstanding guys to have on your roster. I think they were just like one piece away from being like a playoff team. And I had them getting Idris at the number 11th pick, which if Idris is on the court, that automatically puts you in a playoff push position. But at 34, I think there's a good chance to take a good lock here. And I think the best lock on the board here at 34 for this mock draft is Trap. So Trap played with the Hornets, Venom GT last season. He made a playoff run. He was part of that group of guys, Pete exposed. So he's gonna play really good on-ball defense. He's gonna put the team in a good position to get stops and help make runs when they need it. So if he's sitting there at 34, I think it'd be a good chance for West to pick him up and bring him in front of that Atlanta locker room. Now with 35th pick with the Nets again, I think there's a good chance for them to bring in a decent piece to show some versatility. Also bring in another rookie because I think they have the veteran leadership over there with the group of guys they have. I think this is a good shot for Shots to have the opportunity to go back to the 4 spot. I think Shots is liking the 5, but Shots always played his best basketball at the 4. He always made him like when Shots can work out of the corner and play defense out of the corner. That's when we have like all-star caliber play out of him. So at the 35th pick, I think the Nets should take Big Rain. I think he's the best center on the board here at 35. You give him the opportunity to play the 5. I'm going to give Shots the opportunity to move to the 4. Rain could probably move to the 4 if need be. Also kind of puts Jin in a spot to work for his position. But Jin is, he's a my team guy, and he can play multiple positions, so he can move around if need be. But in terms of like having a centerpiece, I like having Rain here. Um, yeah, I mean, I think he's really good at working off the the PNR with the point guard. So that's going to be a big plus for Chalk, having a center who can score the ball and get rebounds, and having a really good power forward in shots. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to take Rain here at 35, or another good center if they're there. Now, 36 pick with the Grizzlies. This is a Grizzlies 6-man pick, or a person they're going to have fit in the lineup and have fight for a spot. I think it's good to have a guy who's going to bring a lot of personality to the locker room, communicates really well. Bit of an old head, a little bit of an OG. I think it'd be a good guy for Lane to get along with Vandy and Authentic to get along with. And I think he would be good at developing some of these young cats who's, just their first time being away from home. He's a bit older, so it'd be good to have like this type of personality in the locker room, who is also really talented. He played for Knicks Gaming last year, so I think the 36 pick should go to Big Rim. Big Rim can shoot really well out the corner, plays good defense. That's also a really good guy to have around. Didn't have the season that he wanted there in New York. Didn't quite fit the dynamic they were looking for, but I think if you bring him to Memphis, I think it makes a lot of sense to the organization. I think he fits well with the pieces they already have there. Like I said before, I had him getting legit Pexal and Cali Rack. Pexal and Cali Rack in the first round. So if Pexal doesn't work out, Rim can slide in, and I think it'll make a lot of sense. But to wrap up the second round with the 37th pick going to Bucks Gaming, I think there's a good chance for them to get a good lock here. I had them getting Fakey in the first round, which is a really good power forward. I think it fits their team. They got Reg, they got A-Roots and Plondo. I think there's another chance to get a good lock who's been proving himself at lock lately in pre-draft, been working on their craft. Used to be a point guard, can still play make really well, and also can move out the corner pretty good and play solid defense. So I think with 37, I think they choose Mr. Styles here. I think it's a good chance to get somebody who's who's a veteran, who's used to being under the spotlight, used to the pressure, be part of an organization that can make another playoff run. They made a playoff run with who they had running lock last year. I think it was ESGN, Ty the ESGN that was over there running lock, and it was some criticism heading this way by the way he was performing. But if they get Styles here, I think he does fit that void they may have had there. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to take him if he's available there at 37. So with 37, I mean, no one other than Drew, Mr. Styles. Well, I think that wraps up the second round. I appreciate everybody who watched the entire video. Appreciate everybody who watched the first video too as well. Again, if you didn't see round one, the link is below in the description. Also, feel free to give me a follow on Twitter. My Twitter is YayNotGaming. Please like and subscribe here on YouTube, Yay Space Not Space Gaming. And if you have a Twitch, you can give me a follow over there too. Be much appreciated. My Twitch is YayNot2K. Please stick around to any notifications. Turn your noties on for any of the content I'm gonna have coming on this page here on YouTube. I'm gonna finish out the third and fourth round next. Again, feel free to shoot me a DM, a comment below about your thoughts, your feelings, your concerns. Like I said before, it's a mock draft. It's supposed to be good content. It's supposed to be here for fun. I don't have insights. I don't have insights on all the locker rooms. Maybe like here and there, but nothing crazy. Like I said before, I just kind of mind my own business, keep my head down, keep my ear to the streets, and I just make picks that make sense to me. So at the end of the day, I had a lot of fun doing this, getting these guys' highlights, getting some people's insights, learning a little bit more as I go too as well. This is good for experience, for more content down the road. But again, I appreciate y'all for stopping through. Everybody take care, stay safe, and have a good day. Peace.